part of a series of operations targeting strategic sites in Russia. Today we carry out sabotage operations on electricity transmission lines, oil and gas wires. Many of the operations are under preparation status. Now look what it says here. We, this is the Muslims talking, we intend to conduct such diversions, murdering 26 innocent people in cold blood, diversions in future, which are just acts of vengeance. So in other words, once again, they didn't start it. There's nothing wrong with this. It's an act of diversion because apparently the Russians have killed the Muslims. These diversions will continue for as long as the occupants in the Caucasus will not stop its policy of killing ordinary Muslims purely on religious grounds. So whether, I haven't studied it intensely, but whether the Russian army is killing Muslims purely on religious grounds or not, here is Islam. Islam says that Russia, which is ruled by communists, which is still ruled by Communist Party, which is still ruled by people who pretty much have no God, atheists, that's Dar al-Harb. Muslims are allowed to fight them. They are an open enemy unto them, just like the United States government is an open enemy. You had the Iranian Shia Muslims going to Mecca on the Hajj last week, and they had a big rally every year at Mecca, big rally. Death to America, death to Israel, death to America, death to Israel, because we're their open enemy. But now here's the stabbing in the back. Now we're not on the Russian side, but nevertheless, look, what are the Russians doing for the Muslims? Ahmadinejad in Iran, how is it that he's opening so many nuclear plants and he's thumbing his nose, if you will, at the United Nations and at the international community? Why? Because he's got Russia. He's got Russia, and he's got Putin to give him the technology. Russia has been Iran's friend, but what do the Muslims do? Any chance they get, Mr. Putin, they stab you in the back. Just like I told our president, please be careful. Please be careful, Putin. Please be careful, all of the heads of state that wish to go and deal with Muslims. And not only are Muslims willing to kill, to destroy, to attack non-Muslim nations, Dar al-Harb, but we see in Iraq, we see in all places around the world, we see Muslims killing Muslims. All they have to do is say, well, he's not true, he's not, Salafi, or he's not Sunni, or he's not Shia, and they say, well, then that's Dar al-Harb too. That's the House of War too. We can be justified in killing them. Stabbing in the back. All right, let's continue on with a few more articles before we go to some of our callers. United Kingdom, we have 4 Muslims just a week ago have been charged with terror-related offenses. Now, we have all these terrorists that are being rounded up in England, the United States of America. Who are these terrorists? Would you believe that almost every single one, I would say every single one in the last couple of months, terrorists that have been rounded up, they happen to be Muslims? Isn't that some coincidence? Can you imagine why they might be Muslims? Because Islam is the religion of peace, right? That's what they keep telling us. No, because Islam is the religion of jihad. Muhammad himself was a jihadist. Muhammad himself led 28 raids on the Quraysh tribes. Muhammad himself said peace is under the shadow of the sword. Muhammad, your prophet himself, said, I have been ordered to fight the unbelievers until they say that there is no God but Allah and that I am his prophet. So you see, this is what we should expect by looking at Muslims around the world today. And so we see that 4 Muslims in England were just last week arrested because of acts of terrorism, namely violent jihad. One of them has an English name, Dean Bolton. But as we know from callers that we've had on our program, even from England, there's a lot of white English who have converted to Islam. What a sad thing. What a sad thing. England was once so great. Just this tiny little island, Hamoudi, ruled pretty much the whole world. And now, Islam has pretty much taken over England. England is pitiful. England's a pitiful nation. If it wasn't for the United States of America, England would have no power whatsoever. I mean, the nuclear bomb that England has came from the United States, and the nation has withered away. And now English people are converting to Islam. Oh. But you know what? England really has very little power in the world today. They just do whatever America tells them. But you know what? Back when England ruled the world, the Victorian age, you know what Queen Victoria did? One time she had, is a well-known story, she had a diplomat, I think it was from an African nation, came to England during the height of the power of England. And he asked Queen Victoria, a young Queen Victoria, what is it? What is the secret of your nation's success and power? And you know what she did, Brother Hamoudi? Oh, praise God. She went over to the bookshelf. And this is a true story. And she got her King James Bible. She pulled it off the shelf and she said, "This is the secret of the success of the United Kingdom of England, the Bible, the English Bible." Oh, would to God that England and every other nation would be able to say that today. And I tell you what, if you'll make the Bible the constitution of your land, amen, and the foundation of your government, you will be successful, just as the United States has been for the last 300 years. But now the United States is waxing weak, isn't it? Muslims revel in the fact. Why? Because we're going away from this precious book, the Bible. England's already gone away from it. Look what happened to England. So has France and Germany and these other countries. Now Muslims come in. The white English and Germans and French, they have no Bible. They have no Christianity to repel this false doctrine. It's a sad thing. That's why Mark Steyn has written a book, America Alone. It's getting to the point where only the United States of America is able to stand up as a Christian power. And people say, "Oh, you see, they're saying it's a Christian army." No, I'm saying the nation is still mostly Christians, and repel the attacks of the enemy. All right, couple more articles and we'll go to the calls. Here's another one. Burqa. You know, there's been this discussion about women wearing hijabs, women wearing burqas. Why can't Muslim women wear the niqab? Even in Michigan, the United States of America, there was this lawsuit, I think, brought about because Muslim women want to wear the face veil when they get a picture on their driver's license. Why take the picture? You know, unless we're going to do like retina verification or something. Well, you know, I used to think, hey, I don't have any problem with women wearing a hijab. I don't have any problem with women wearing burqas, whatever. That's their religion. But I've begun to change my opinion, and now I'm beginning to agree with Sarkozy. I'm beginning to agree with these people who are saying, no, these women shouldn't be allowed to wear their burqas, shouldn't be allowed to wear their hijabs or their niqabs. Why? Well, one of them, look at that woman now. She was wearing Western clothes, and she put a knife in there and tried to kill that Jewish soldier. But now listen to this. November 29th, just a few days ago, 2009. Burqa-wearing gunmen, not gun women, gunmen. Burqa-wearing gunmen pistol whip post office manager in failed robbery attempt in Manningham, England. This is not the first time that Muslim men will hide, their cowards are hiding in women's clothing in order to go and attack and to rob, and in some cases to commit jihad or to escape capture. Wearing Islamic clothing, and the British police and everyone else, oh, well, you know, we're not going to bother them. Oh, that's their religion. You don't want to touch their burqa or you know, you don't want to offend anybody. No, somebody might not get killed. You might save a life if you offend somebody. But just as George Casey, the head of the United States Army, you saw what he said, didn't you, Brother Hamoudi? He said that the tragedy at Fort Hood, killing 14 Americans, 13 soldiers and one in vitro, a child in a woman's womb, and then wounding some 30 others, as great as a tragedy as that was, it would be a worse tragedy if we lose the diversity that we enjoy in the United States Army. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Instead of diversity, we can have diversity or we can save lives when it comes to Islam. And America and the European government choosing diversity. Aha. But Switzerland's a little bit different. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Anyways, I won't talk too much more about this article, but you will find that as I started to uncover this story, many times Muslim men and women have used their Islamic garb, which European and American governments tend to give them leeway and let them wear it when they wouldn't let other people wear such garb, or they'd be suspicious of a man who walks in with a big, huge dress, or a woman in the middle of the summer, but not a Muslim woman. But they've used that to conceal weapons, to commit acts of violence and jihad. Let me go one more article, and then we'll go to the calls before our next break. Here we have one that shouldn't surprise us. You know, Barack Hussein Obama, one of his big spiels going up to the election was, we're going to close down Gitmo. And essentially, it's just because those terrible conservatives were big meanies. And, you know, can you believe those conservative Republicans would think it was okay to use torture in those Afghan Taliban and 9/11 suspects?